Assalamu alaikum. So today I'm going to show you how to make this delicious treat. These are Gulab Jamuns, and this recipe is very easy to follow through, especially if you're a beginner. So first of all, you're going to need your ingredients. You're going to need an egg, lime, plain flour, some butter, some baking powder, orange food color, cardamom, milk powder, and some sugar. You're also going to need a cup of water. So I'm going to start by putting in 1 cup of water into the pan, and the pan is currently cooking, it's currently on medium heat, so you need it on medium to low heat. And then next I'm going to go in with the sugar, and I'm using 1/2 cup of sugar. This is caster sugar that I'm using, but you could use any sugar. The good thing about caster sugar is that it quickly dissolves in water. Next I'm going to go in with cardamom, and I'm going to get just a pinch of that cardamom, for that flavor, for that smell. It's just so good. So the next thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of orange food color, just a dash of it, because I don't really want it to be too orangey or close to red. I want it to be more of a vibrant sort of orange and sort of like goldish, sort of, like a beautiful goldfish kind of color. So I'm just gonna start in the food color in there and mix it properly. Next I'm gonna go in with my lime. If you have a lemon you can use that as well, but I have a lime, and I had lime, so that's what I was using. I'm just gonna squeeze in half of that lime inside there, but just to balance out the sweetness of the sugar. You don't want the syrup to be too sweet, even though it's a sweet dessert, but you need to have a balance in the taste. And then I'm just gonna mix everything up, and then I'm gonna let it sit on the side and cool down, so that later on I can pour it over the bowls that I'm about to make. So for the bowls you're gonna need some Nido or milk powder, and I'm using 1/2 cup of milk powder. I don't know any other brand that I've ever used before besides Nido, so I'm using half a cup of the milk powder. Next I'm gonna go in with plain flour, and that's 1 tablespoon of plain flour. Please do not use self-raising flour, because in this recipe I'm using baking powder, and it's just gonna make them rise too much, and you don't need that. So for baking powder I'm gonna use a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. You could basically try with a full one, then remove half of it, then remove half of it again, so that you could get your 1/4. I'm gonna go in with some cardamom, and just a pinch of the cardamom, once again like what we did with the syrup. So this is for the flavor, and cardamom has a very beautiful smell, so it's really nice when you use it in your gulab jamuns. So I'm just gonna mix everything together. I used a whisk to mix it properly besides the spoon, like off camera. Next I'm gonna go in with my butter, and I'm using 1/2 tablespoon of the butter. It doesn't matter what brand of butter you use, as long as it's butter. That's what you need. So this recipe, basically you don't need things like milk or water or anything. You're gonna use just some fats. You're gonna use your butter and your egg. This is 1 egg that I'm using, and that's it. These are the only wet, or rather fat, ingredients you're gonna need to keep the mixture together, to keep the flour together. So you're gonna mix everything up, and then you're gonna have to knead it to make a little piece of dough. And don't worry if the dough is sticky, or a little bit sticky, not too much, a little bit sticky. It's supposed to be like that, okay? And if you find it too sticky, just put a little bit of oil on your palm, and then I'm just trying to show you how to knead here, but I had to knead it off camera just because I find it hard to knead while holding the camera. So next you're gonna need to pinch a little bit at a time and make some small round balls from the dough. I used both of my hands off camera to make them perfectly round. You can do that as well, or you can use one hand to make the balls. I made about 9 of them. Next I fried the balls on medium heat. You don't want to put them on high heat, because basically it's gonna burn the outside, and then it's not gonna cook fully through. I also splashed some oil on it so that basically it can cook all the way around. Once your balls look, you know, not golden brown, you could have them at golden brown, but I've noticed most gulab jamuns are more darker. So if you get it on a nice brown color, you take them out of your frying pan and you try put them in a bowl. The reason why you put them in a bowl or something is because you're going to pour the syrup that you made earlier inside the bowl, and you're gonna need to let them soak in. So I took all of the bowls out, and I took the syrup that I made earlier and I poured them all over the bowls. That is just so beautiful. As you can see, is the color is just like literally perfect. That's just how it's supposed to be. So after pouring the syrup onto the balls, I let them soak in that syrup, because gulab jamuns are wet in the inside. They normally have soaked up that syrup, so you need to leave it for at least 15 minutes and they would have soaked in. And then now your gulab jamuns are ready to eat. I hope you like this tutorial, and I hope you'll try to make your own gulab jamuns at home. Let me know how they taste like. You know, feel free to tag me on Instagram or share with me on YouTube.